Hey, what's going on, y'all? So check this out. If you remember all the way back to September 26th of 2018, that was episode number 1 of Thirsty Thursdays live with Mike Tech. All right, so, and if you really remember, if you got the memory of an elephant that never forgets, we shot that on Instagram live. And for whatever reason, the video didn't save, it didn't store on my phone, so it was lost forever, and that was why episode 2 and on, I went through Facebook Live, everything stored on the phone. So now I'm slowly going back, and I started cutting them up to give you the Reader's Digest version, so you don't get this long, hour and a half video to watch. I just cut it down to the bare bones, the tofu and potatoes, not the meat and potatoes. Tofu and potatoes, because we're vegan now. So it dawned on me that while I'm going through this hours of video, which I have 13 hours worth of video now, like, oh man, I gotta go back and we gotta do a breakdown for episode number 1. All right, so if you remember, let's just check it out. So this was the first Thirsty episode. That's the name of the track. And by the way, as a friendly reminder, it's out there. It is streaming everywhere now. So whether you're a Deezer guy, a Tidal guy, Apple Music guy, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Napster, MediaNet, everywhere. Or if you're old school like me, you're going to go on iTunes and you're going to purchase it, and then you're going to burn a CD, and then that CD's just going to stay in the car because you just wanted the CD player all the time. Yeah, so this one was, I wanted to start the series off guitar heavy. I wanted it to have that rock edge, that live music sort of edge, and that's what I set out to do, and that's exactly what I did. I love the rockness to it. So let's break it down. Let's break it down. I'm going to solo each instrument, and then we're going to come over to the keys and discover what it is. So here was the heavy riff. Yeah, so that was the instrument there. So, I mean, really, I could come back to all these saved files and start fresh, and it's almost like jumping into the studio with a different band on each track, So, like, the instruments are already there, like, oh, okay, we're gonna do one of those. That's one way you can look at this magical world. So I just labeled this as keys. Alright, so there's the keys. What is this? Oh, so here's the drums. Wow, and this was a simple one. I only used 8 drum sounds on this one. Really crispy. So again, like I said at the beginning, I was trying to, I wanted it very live sounding, and that goes all the way back to an article with one of my favorite producers in the early 2000s, Mr. Just Blaze. All right, you remember he had crazy hits with Jay-Z. One of my favorite Kanye West songs was produced by Just Blaze, and in Scratch Magazine. Raise your hand if you remember Scratch Magazine. All right, I was a subscriber. I was very sad when I got the notice that it was done. Sad days, but good times up until then. I still have every issue. So they did an article with Just Blaze, and he talked about when he gets into the drums, he got to this point where he wanted them to sound like a live drum set. He didn't want it to sound like, with samples. He didn't want it to sound like an 808. He wanted it to sound like live drum sounds, and I was able to EQ these things up pretty darn nice. The open hi-hats could have used a little reverb to liven them up, but that's a pretty live sounding kit right there. Let's see what else we got in here. The verse riff. Yes, it's on. This is like I didn't do no test run on this video. I was just like, open up First Thirsty episode project file, and go through each instrument. And so this is back to September 26th, the first episode of Thirsty Thursdays, man, season 1. It's just like almost like nostalgia of like, oh yeah, I remember, you know. I don't remember what I played, but I remember the sounds. And what's really cool is I'm hearing like 12 new song ideas. So that was labeled verse riff. Oh, and then one of my classic tricks was to do the effects drums. All right, so like I liked having the sound drop right before the hook. So with some fancy top secret effects, I would just throw in random drum sounds, throw this effect on, and it gets that breakdown sound, almost like a Linkin Park type of breakdown in like Crawling, before it would go into the bridge, before it would go into the hook. You would get that. Alright, so that's my effects drums, which lately in season 2, I don't think I really used the effects drums trick. I was going more back to basics. I was trying to, you know, simplify, but no, hearing this crispy reverb, crunchy monster sound, it's probably gonna turn up Thursday in episode 5. That's coming up. Cool, and then so that means the final piece of the puzzle is this is like my calling card, my trademark that I throw on onto every track, just so that no matter where I hear it, I know it's mine. So when somebody steals a beat, before the content ID finds it, I can find it. So alright, so this is just, you know, little tricks of the trade, little secrets. Plus, I didn't want every beat to start off with mic check on the beat, or, you know, there's so many tags out there, and they're kind of, I don't know, to me it's whack. You know, growing up listening to music, I never heard anything with a tag in it. You know, it was something that came out, you know, over the last 10 years or something. Although I didn't mind hearing Scott Storch, you know, because you knew, oh, okay, shit, it's a Scott Storch beat. It's gonna be a thumper. I'm probably gonna put this track on repeat. And so there you have it. That was it was simple, down to the basics, man. I just wanted to be that. I wanted to get that live music sound on episode 1, and we did. Almost on the vibe of like, I know nobody's gonna remember Shooty's Groove. All right, they were some really groovy dudes. I think they came out of New York back in late 90s, early 2000s. I think they started around the time with Dog Eat Dog, when the rapping and the rocking was cool together. Shooty's Groove, man, look them up. They had a song called L Train, and that was dope. Alright, y'all, this is the Reader's Digest version of Thirsty Thursdays, Volume 1, Episode 1, the remake, since we lost the original episode in all its glory. This song is now available streaming everywhere. Just go to iTunes, type in Mike Tech, Thirsty Thursdays. You'll find Volume 1. Alright, y'all, love, peace, and chicken grease. I'm out.